Hello and welcome, or welcome back. This is part 2 in this series of Pastor Confronts Christianity's Great Dilemma. In this video, we will get better acquainted with our author, Glenn Hill, so I'll open with another quote from the preface of his book, Christianity's Great Dilemma. Quote, "What a dilemma this is. Jesus told his followers he would come back while some of them were still living, and apparently he did not keep his promise. If I believed Jesus did not do what he said, if I believed he had misled and deceived his first followers, then I could no longer believe in him. Yet the conclusion reached by unbelievers that Jesus was wrong about when he would return is exactly what is believed by most of Christianity's leaders today. Were you aware of this? Keep this thought in mind as we continue through this series. I want to encourage you to get Brother Hill's book. It's available on Amazon in Kindle format. Now let me read to you his own invitation from the preface of Christianity's Great Dilemma. Quote, "This is a must-read book for every studious, thoughtful, and sincere Christian. I humbly invite you to read it. It is not difficult reading. I tried to write using simple everyday language and purposely avoided complicated theological terms and words. Yet I promise you will find it honest, unique, interesting, and even challenging. Most Christians have never heard or even considered the thrilling discoveries found in these pages. So read this book with eagerness. Read it with the spirit of expectancy and anticipation. Read with a genuine hunger to find the answer to Christianity's great dilemma. You will not be disappointed. The singular answer runs consistently all the way through the New Testament, and finding it will increase your faith in Jesus, and your walk with him will never be the same. In his love, Glenn." Now, the overarching question that Pastor Hill had in mind to search out the answer to was, when does the Bible say Jesus would come again? He believed truth is supremely important to God, and this means it should be supremely important to Christians. This is why, personally, I will not agree to disagree. With Pastor Hill's help and answered prayer, I've seen what Scripture says about the return coming parousia of Jesus. Perhaps more importantly, I've recognized what it doesn't say about the event. Now, I've learned by observing passages like Matthew 16:27-28, and I'll quote again, "For the Son of Man will come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he will reward each according to his works. Assuredly, I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." This is what Jesus himself pronounced in terms of the first century context of his return. Matthew 16:27-28 is a statement of biblical fact. So if someone wants to counter that there is an additional yet future return, then there must exist an additional statement of fact that corresponds to that future event in the same terms. Pastor Hill's study shows no additional scripture exists concerning a future coming of Jesus. Now, I'm about to close part 2 by giving you some idea of the character of Pastor Hill. He gave a fairly lengthy self-description in the preface. So I had an idea. I copied it, and I asked AI to go a bit beyond the usual biography and paint a word portrait of the author. So here it is. Glenn Hill emerges as a profoundly earnest and intellectually honest individual, driven by a lifelong, unwavering commitment to what he perceives as biblical truth. His primary motivation isn't to be novel or revolutionary, but to be correct, specifically to ensure his beliefs align precisely with divine teachings. This singular focus has cultivated a courageous and independent spirit, enabling him to question and ultimately stand at odds with prevailing Christian doctrines when he believes they deviate from the truth. He doesn't shy away from challenging established norms, viewing this as an obligation rather than an act of defiance. A defining characteristic is his striking humility and teachability. Far from presenting himself as an ultimate authority, he repeatedly asserts, "I do not know it all." He demonstrates remarkable vulnerability and intellectual integrity by openly admitting to past errors, even doctrines he held dear and preached with fervor. He frames this admission of being wrong not as a failure, but as a crucial, albeit sometimes embarrassing step in his personal and spiritual growth. This suggests a growth-oriented mindset where the pursuit of truth takes precedence over personal pride. He possesses a collaborative and a diligent spirit, acknowledging that his understanding hasn't sprung solely from his own insights, but has been significantly aided by a growing multitude of Christians alongside extensive reading of old and new books and articles and engagement with online resources. He sees himself as part of a larger collective journey towards deeper comprehension of familiar scriptures. Finally, his writing reveals a sincere pastoral heart coupled with evangelistic hope, while primarily addressing fellow Christians, sharing his journey with those like me who love Jesus, believe in him, and try to serve him every day. He also harbors a genuine desire for his insights to reach non-believers, hoping his work can clarify dubious Christian teachings and create an opportunity for faith in their lives. This indicates a person deeply invested in both the spiritual well-being of the faithful and the potential for new faith in others. In essence, he is a man of deep conviction and unwavering dedication to truth, tempered by profound humility, a courageous willingness to admit error, and a genuine desire to guide others toward what he believes is a clearer understanding of his faith. Now, this is our author and study leader. In Part 3, we will begin to learn to experience what I consider a solid inductive study method focused on exegesis, the process of drawing facts and information out of the Scriptures, as opposed to eisegesis, reading things into the Bible. I hope as you follow along, you will learn how to spot the difference. Now, it's pretty important. So I recommend you again to get the book. It's available on Amazon. Last price I noticed was $9.99 for Kindle format. So please post comments and questions. It was kindly suggested to me that some of my replies were unnecessarily long, so look for me to send links occasionally that you can examine as thoroughly as you desire. For now, I'm out.